Okay. We're on the air. Brittney and Xander coming to you live
from the Big Business newsroom.
Welcome to Big Business.
Well, I feel like you just kicked off the episode for us then.
Oh, did I?
Yeah, we're keeping this in. Welcome back to another bonus episode of Big Business. Today I'm joined by Producer Xander.
Hello.
And we're doing another Q&A. We've been compiling questions that everyone has been sending to my Big Business Instagram account. If you ever want to get in contact with me, that is a great account to contact me on because it only has like 6,000 almost followers.
Yeah.
And we check all of them, whereas on my main account, the DMs can get a little flooded sometimes. So if you ever have a question or a topic you'd love me to talk about, shoot it to me on that account because we've been writing this down.
And if you want to contact me, I am single, so you can go on Instagram and send me a DM.
Yeah, if you want to slide into Xander's DMs, just search Xander in my following list and you'll find him.
Yeah, and
you
click follow.
Yeah. So Xander is just going to shoot some of your questions at me and I'm going to answer them and you can have some banter as well because it's fun.
First question for today's bonus episode. How do you manage staff that you think are underperforming? If you mention me, I'm out.
I don't manage you.
Oh,
you
yeah,
manage me.
technically I'm a Nova employee. Yeah.
You're my boss, really. Great question. And this is something that no matter who you are, every business owner is going to run into this at some point. And the more employees that you get, the more you're going to run into this is staff that you think may be underperforming. So how do you manage that? You have open conversations with them. Now, for us in particular, I'm not going out and directly having these conversations with our staff because I'm the CEO of the company. But instead, we will get their manager to chat with them. It will kind of make its way back to me if it needs to. But if you do have a staff member where you think they're falling a little bit behind or they're not performing all of their tasks like they should, it's really as easy, and I know I say this all the time, but have a hard conversation to have an easy life. If you have easy conversations, aka none, you're going to have a hard life. We are all about open communication at Fate. We're really transparent with our employees and we speak to them like they are humans because that's what employees are. A lot of business owners, I think, get that wrong and just see them as just employees and, you know, everyone's replaceable, blah, blah, blah. But just treat your staff like humans. Have an adult conversation with them. If you notice that they're lacking in a certain area, ask them to sit down and have a chat with them in a quiet space. Check in with them. Say, hey, like, how are you going? Like, I just wanted to bring this up with you to be transparent. I noticed that your tasks aren't getting completed in the day. Like, do you have anything that you want to share with me? Is there any way that I can help you to improve in your role? Like, is your workload too much? Kind of put it back on them and ask, how are they going? And just have an open and honest conversation with them because you'll be surprised, as scared as business owners are to have tough conversations with staff, you'll be surprised at how open to these conversations your employees are to having. Like, you'd think they're going to freak out and have a meltdown or whatever. But if you just come at them on a human level and just go, hey, like, this is just something I noticed. Can we work on this together to make some improvements? You'll be surprised like how willing they are to get on board. Like it's always quite surprising. People do take feedback. I mean, some people don't, but people are generally usually open to constructive feedback and maybe not some. Sandra's pulling a face over there. But it really is just as simple as talking to your staff and having a conversation with them. Like, what's the worst that's going to happen from just saying to them, hey, like, let's just have a quick little chat? If they're going to rage and say this, that, and the other, like, I think, are they really that good in your business then, you know?
Get them out.
But yeah, it's as easy as just having a simple conversation and always have those conversations with your staff. Don't just have them when things are going wrong. Then remember to sit down and have catch-ups with them when things are going great. I think it's important to not just have sit downs to talk about negative things, but pull your staff aside. Like, we do one-on-ones every week at our workplace where our employees with their manager will have a weekly one-on-one. They sit down, they talk through their goals of the week. What are you working on? They might reflect on the previous week and say, hey, you did great. It's so important to have like open conversations in business. And that's something that we're really big on at Fate.
Question number 2, how do your employees approach you, or how should they approach you if they have new ideas for the business?
Great question. Depends who it is, but I only speak from obviously our business structure, which is quite large. So, for example, let's say someone working in our Hawthorn store in Victoria has an idea that they want to present to me. They usually wouldn't come straight to me to tell me the idea. Instead, they'll go to their manager, and then the manager can come to us, kind of thing. But thinking back to when we were smaller and I was kind of working directly with all of our staff, or even now if I'm in my office and if I'm in our office and someone wants to come to me with an idea, I mean, it depends what it is. If it's just a small little suggestion, they can honestly just come up to me and just go, hey, Britt, I just had this idea and I just wanted to plan it on your desk, you know? But then I guess, again, it depends on the context. If it's something huge, then maybe they'll want to put a presentation together. And if they want to do like a massive pitch or whatever, schedule in some time with your boss and say, hey, like I've got this idea that I want to present to you. Maybe let them know you've been thinking of this idea. It's based around this. Like it's based around, let's say, a new social media campaign that I think we should do. When do you have some time in the next week? I want to sit down and show you a presentation for 15 minutes.
What's the best idea that you've been presented from an employee that you've implemented?
Shit, that is a good question. So many.
Or your favourite, at least.
That's a good fucking question. Let me think.
That's why I'm the producer.
Yeah, like that is actually a really good question. I mean, we all work so collaboratively at Fate, especially with our social media. Like a lot of our ideas that we do have, it's kind of all of us bouncing off one another. Another thing that we do at Fate is like have a lot of meetings with teams that do work together. So like we have a weekly marketing meeting where all the marketing teams sit together and brainstorm ideas together, which is fantastic. Rather than everyone working individually trying to come up with things, it's really good to work together. What are the best things that have been brought to me? I'd say like small little mechanical things that make our business better, like improving the warehouse.
Like operational things?
Yeah, little things like that people suggest. That's fantastic. Same goes for our stores. Like our store staff are constantly saying, hey, like I think we should get this because our customers would love this. God, I can't think of like one major thing.
It is the little things that count in business,
yes,
though.
Like
yeah, it's sometimes not the major changes or major ideas. It's those things
it's
that kind
the little
of make
things
everything
that
easier.
make everyone's job easier. Yeah. Like I'd say like another one that our office team put together often are just like new procedures and policies, especially for like our store staff where we're not working directly with them every day. Just checklists and procedures and little training nights and stuff that like that's all them, you know, and we've done so many things like that. And they're just those tiny little things, like you said, that make our workplace way more better when it comes to functioning. There's so many. That's a great question, though. You've got me thinking now. I want to think of like, what's the best thing someone has ever suggested to me? And to all of you out there, by all means, vocalize your interests and ideas to your employer. I mean, if they're an asshole, that might be a bit hard to do. But, you know, like bring your ideas to the table. Like we always say to our new staff, you know, everyone is equal here and we want to hear your ideas. And I think a lot of people can often be scared to share their ideas, but we want to hear your ideas. Like I've had people pitch roles to me, like just say they're employed by me already in one area, and I've had people make an entire presentation saying, hey, I want to progress in the company and this is my role that I want to have a goal to do one day in the future.
That's slow.
Yeah, and I've had someone go, and this is what it would look like, and these are the roles that I would do, and this is why I think this would be good for the business.
It's like, a go-getter.
Yeah, I love, and we made that happen for her.
Yeah.
She started yesterday.
Oh, damn.
In that new role.
Woohoo!
She came from the warehouse to the office.
Damn.
She's been with us for like 2.5 years.
Yeah.
So she's done a full career change.
But like taking that initiative and seeing that gap there that she could fill.
Yes.
That's a forward thinker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing is with that as well, the hard thing is it takes time to make that happen. So she brought that to us. Again, she did a presentation. She scheduled in the time. I didn't know what she was going to talk to us about. I thought she was maybe going to quit. When she's like, can I schedule in a time to talk to you guys? I'm like, no, she's going to quit. Like, she's been with us for 2.5 years. No. And then it was this whole pitch for her to have a new role. And that was at the start of this year. And I said, Sam, I love this. And I said to her at the start of the year, I can't make this happen for you right now because we just didn't have that role. Like it was a role that hadn't existed in Fate yet. But I said, give me some time. I'm going to keep this in the front of my mind and we'll make this happen. And now it's June And she started literally on Monday. It took us, 6 months to make that happen. And we had to do a lot of restructuring, because that is a whole thing in itself as well. Like, you can't make stuff happen overnight, especially she was managing our warehouse. So then we've had to like replace her in her role and make sure everyone's right there. It takes a long time to make something like that happen for someone. But I really do love that display of initiative.
I like this next question because I only recently found out that you guys own a coffee shop, and it completely blew my mind because, like, what else do you not, like, do you not own anything? Like, what?
I own everything.
Yeah, you even own me, apparently. So are you going to open another coffee shop? And if so, like, where are you going to put it?
Great question. I get asked this a lot, and never say never, but the answer is no.
Oh.
And I feel like I'll do another whole bonus episode maybe about like owning a coffee shop in general, or a main episode, who knows. I can probably talk about it for that long. But the answer for now is no. Where we have our coffee shop, it's literally joined to our Fate store in Newcastle. They are neighbours. It works really well side by side. And before our Fate store was in there, it was a creative studio, like a hire studio that we used all the time. Then we hired it out to people. So we always had two businesses next to each other. And then earlier this year, Fate moved next door. So to have those two side by side, it works. It does well. But we never opened that coffee shop. It's called Outdo Espresso, for any of you that don't know. It's in Newcastle. Come visit us and shop at Fate next door. We never opened that for it to become something that we build on and open more and more. It was more just this idea that I'd always had. Like, imagine having a coffee shop next to one of your businesses.
Yeah, it just organically kind of happened.
Yeah. But we never started it to like make millions of dollars out of it or anything like that. And trust me, there's not much money in a coffee shop. You kind of do it more just for the passion and like your community. And it's a whole lot of work as well when you're dealing with coffee and food, and like we have a whole team in there as well that we manage.
What's the best product at the coffee shop?
Our toasties.
Oh, what kind? What's on the toastie?
Oh, our best seller is like the chicken pesto, which we've had since the beginning. We've got your classic ham and cheese, veggie, and then we do specials all the time, like mac and cheese toasties.
Ooh.
Buffalo chicken we've got happening at the moment. We've done a million specials, and they're like gourmet toasties, like real gourmet. But I always say to AJ, I love how our coffee shop is next to like our Fate store in Newcastle. I absolutely love it. People go for a coffee and then for a shop, and I'd love to have that at every Fate store, but that's just way too hard.
Yeah.
But that would be a dream, but...
Fate coffee.
Yeah, seriously, no. But just the one for now, no more in the future, even though it would be super cool to have a coffee shop next to every Fate store for the experience, but just the one for now. And I'll talk more about owning a cafe in a future episode, because that's all the time that we have for today's bonus episode of Big Biz. Thanks, Xander, for being on this one.
Thank you. I'll be back again soon.